Professor that rigged election for Godswill Akpabio, the current Nigerian Senate president, has been sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. Anyway, the Senate president Godswill Akpabio denied him. Let me explain. So it is not allegedly, this is not allegedly, it is a proven fact. Mr. Ogben, a professor of soil science in University of Calabar, during the 2019 election, the rigged election for Godswill Akpabio in 2019 election, anyway, it turns out that during that election, Godswill Akpabio actually lost, the PDP candidate won, which matter went to court. Anyway, the professor has been jailed for rigging 2 local governments. Anyway, the professor also confessed, said, illegal, with all evidence showing. Anyway, everything was concluded in 2021. The professor was sentenced to jail for 2 years for rigging election for Godswill Akpabio. Anyway, the recent update is that Godswill Akpabio deny him. In fact, he disowner, say he no know. Now, what do you learn from this? It is only in Nigeria that a professor that read books so much and become a professor that is training doctors, teaching a lot of people to become big people, that will rig election for an illiterate. An illiterate will gain a political power and owe them salary. You know how many professors in Nigeria are own salary? Why do you think ASU strike always happen? Because they don't pay them their salary, they owe them. They don't give them what they need to have. A professor in Nigeria will be earning 400, 500,000 naira as salary, whereby the person they helped rig election to put to power will be earning millions. The person they rigged into position will be earning millions in allowance, will be earning newspaper allowance, will be earning toilet roll allowance, will be earning girlfriend allowance. Millions. At least in a month, they'll be working away with almost 50 million naira, whereby the professor that, shade the paper will be getting 400,000 naira. Students will be riding better car than the professor. Professors of Nigeria that help politicians rig election. Shame on you people. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. And all the youth corpers in Nigeria that helped in any electoral manipulation. Shame on you. Una no go find better job. Una no go find better job. You will look for job. You look for job. Job will look for you. You will not find you. You will look for job. You will not see. Job will look for you. They will not even see you. You see, all of you. You people are the reason why Nigeria is where it is today. Even you, NYC member, they will carry you. That way you will help them to manipulate the results.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio has criticized a lawmaker representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, for raising sexual harassment allegations against him at the United Nations Interparliamentary Conference. While speaking during a plenary session on Thursday, Akpabio accused Akpoti-Uduaghan of attempting to embarrass Nigeria. Let's take a look.
Whatever decision we arrive at here is unanimous. And I recall the last decision we took, and which concerned one of our sisters here, the Tinubu Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. I'm also aware that when she left the chambers, she went to the Brekete Radio and she went to Arise Television and she distorted the facts. I'm aware further that she has now externalized the matter by attempting to embarrass the Federal Republic of Nigeria by going to give a narrative at the IPU UN event, totally different from what occurred in the Senate.
All right, Senate President has spoken. In the meantime, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has filed a contempt case against Senate President Godswill Akpabio over her recent suspension from the upper legislative chamber. In the suit, Senator Natasha named Akpabio, Neda Imaswe, and the clerk of the National Assembly as respondents, accusing them of deliberately disregarding a March 4th ruling by the Federal High Court in Abuja, which restrained the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions from conducting disciplinary proceedings against her. The disciplinary action stemmed from the incident on February 20th, when Natasha was seen to have disrupted plenary by rejecting her assigned seat in a notice of disobedience of a court order attached to Natasha's lawsuit and signed by the court registrar. The respondents, including Akpabio, were warned that their actions could result in their committal to prison for contempt of court. I mean, this story is absolutely threatening, especially that last part I read. Akpabio is going to go to jail. I mean, really, I mean, obviously, I guess it's attached to most of these sort of cases, right? Dr. Abbas, a quick comment and then we'll find
contempt. It can be either contempt in the face of the court,
yes, or
contempt away from the face of the court. That's Fashi Korea. What it means is that people are supposed to respect the rulings of the court and to conduct themselves as lawful persons who respect the rule of law. In this particular case, the allegation, which was an issue that the lawyers to Mrs. Uduaghan brought up, the last time Justice Iguatu's court looked at the matter, was that the notice, the ex parte injunction was properly served, and that the committee led by Senator Neda Imaswe still went ahead to look into the matter and inflict all those conditions and punishments that they did, which was contrary, they pleaded to the order of the court. Now the judge confirmed that the order was served. I thought I saw that line in the report.
Yes.
But when I saw that, I said, okay, this has been established by the presiding judge himself. Now, it is, I guess, on the basis of that Mrs. Uduaghan is now saying is filing contempt application. However, contempt is not that easy. to just impose in this particular case, particularly when the substantive issue itself has not even been heard. This was a motion ex parte. Now, and whether a contempt application, the order will be given or not, is at the discretion, in any case, of the presiding judge. The next issue is about the Senate itself. Will Justice Iguatu commit to prison the Senate President, the clerk of the Senate, and also the chairman of the Senate and Privileges Committee, and also other members? That would be a bit difficult. Right. It seems to me that the course of action that would be easier to pursue for Senator Akpabio would seem to be to take the matter itself to court and to insist that her fundamental human rights have been breached, that she did not receive fair hearing, and it's clearly within the powers of the court to say that nobody can be treated unfairly, whatever the matter may be at all. Right. Maybe if she pursues that line, she may get the relief that she's seeking from the court of law.
Thank you for your submission. Pro bono, Dr. Pat. Pro bono. No, he said go ahead, quickly, please.
So, a couple of things. Yes. In the spirit of being fair and
balanced. Yes, always.
Let me go back to my instructive word, because a lot of people, they have wool in their ear, they don't hear. I'm not saying Akpabio is guilty. All we have just called for is investigation.
As always.
As regards this process, what we have said is there should be fair hearing. It is now established, because they first feigned ignorance that it was not served. But even before the judge confirmed that it was served on them, that they should not go ahead with the hearing, the Senator Nedam as well himself has said he had seen it, but they had gone ahead. And you remember that we did have some people prove that the legislature is more than the judiciary and everything. They can't stop the judiciary, separation of power, Montesquieu, and all of that. But now, he has gone ahead to establish a contempt case. But also in this case, there's a fresh story brewing. According to the Premium Times, that some disgruntled senators are now saying that there were some hanky-panky and they didn't see the full report before it was brought and presented to the House and submitted.
About 13 of them.
13 senators. That's a fresh story brewing. So that's an addendum to the matter. Again, I repeat, for the sake of those that have wool in their ears, I'm not saying Akpabio is guilty. Right. All I'm saying is let there be fair hearing in this case.
All right, well said. All right, then we'll take another story. Ayo, this story is dear to my heart. I'd like for you to just really take a look at it. Activist and social media influencer Martins Oshe, who goes by the name Very Dark Man, has called on the Kwara State Police Command, the first PRO, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to tell Nigerians what happened to Olatunji Abdulkadiri Jimoh, a young man who mysteriously died while in detention after he was arrested for allegedly owing a Gabriel Sunday of Olam Farm in Kwara State the sum of 220,000 naira. Well, according to Very Dark Man, the police told Olatunji's family that he committed suicide using a bandana in his prison cell. The police said Olatunji was then taken to a morgue after trying to reach his family. The family said they had tried to bail Olatunji after coming up with the money, and the police claimed he owed, but the money was rejected, only to be summoned to the morgue after his body was deposited without their consent. When the family visited the morgue to recover Olatunji's body, they discovered that the body was opened up and stitched back up, raising suspicion of foul play. I mean, we have seen a lot of stories from Very Dark Man, but this one, I spoke with our political editor, Christian Ogodo in Abuja, and he said he has, reached out to the Force PRO to find out if this story is actually true, and they did confirm that this young man died in prison, and there's still an investigation. But how sad is this story? And this can happen to anyone, really. Dies. I mean, it was the day before. I mean, he was just one day. He spent about a day in prison, and he hung himself. What really happened there? We really want to know.
I'm so glad that this story has come to light again, and we mustn't allow it to die, because we have innocent people who are either incarcerated or held in custody without fair trial, and because one person who has some form of influence is sponsoring it. I believe that the police has a right, or they have a duty to Nigerians to explain what really happened to Mr. Olatunji. His family members, I can't imagine the states they're in. I can't imagine the people he's left behind. There are a number of things that should already pique your interest. One day in prison over the level of the allegation, which is 20,000 naira. What is 20,000 naira in the grand scheme of things? That would cause also 200. That would cause, even if it were 500,000 naira, that would cause a man to commit suicide in 24 hours, especially whilst the investigation is going on. We don't want this to be another case that's being swept under the carpet. There's another one that's happening as well. And it happens in not just Kwara State, it happens in many states across the country. Bigger than this case, because I always believe that we can use an incident to trigger a change or policy direction in the nation. The police needs to go through their internal processes so that people in Nigeria have fair hearing, especially the poor and vulnerable. It's like double jeopardy for many Nigerians who are poor and who don't have access to powers that be. So please, we're calling on the IG of police to please investigate this matter. Nigerians deserve to know the truth as to what really happened to this young man.
May his soul rest in peace. take another story now. The newly appointed Accountant General of the Federation, Shamsaluddin Ogujimi, assumed office on Monday and was welcomed by a crowd of supporters in Abuja. Well, in this video that has now made rounds on social media, the new AGF could be seen appreciating the crowd of supporters and expressing excitement like he just won an election. Let's take a look. Dr. Bati, what is happening here? Really quickly. Yes. Yeah, he's 57 years old.
Was appointed after Mr. Madeni, the Accountant General, retired. And we were told, in the statement issued by Mr. Bayo Ononuga, that he went through very rigorous selection process. He wrote an exam, a proficiency test, and then he faced a panel of interviewers and all of that. So the statement that was issued 7th March, I think, by the presidency was that this man was selected on the basis of merit. Right. However, all this thing about waving at people, we're in a political season, everybody has become some closet politician. Maybe he's preparing to also run for office after he retires 3 years' time, when he will be 60. But in any case, what we expect from him is to focus on his assignment.
Absolutely.
As the Accountant General of the Federation.
Absolutely.
Not to go there and play politics. Because if he takes this kind of attitude, waving at people and all of that, in that position, we will also have another crisis with regard to that office.
Absolutely.
He should focus on the job and stop, waving to people up and down. Let him sit down and do the job.
President AGF. Well, all right. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on what's trending.